Hello and welcome to the next MSI 2026 preview as we cover mid lane. This is a re-recording. I got through the rankings and then midway through and saw that I'd run out of memory space on the computer. So we are redoing this. So I doubt it's going to be 20 minutes long like the other two, top and jungle, because I usually go quicker when I have to do it a second time. So this mid lane group, not quite as weak as top, but definitely not as deep as jungle. Like the jungle role is going to be the deepest one at this event. So we have KDA, KP, CS per minute, damage divided by gold, share differential, vision efficiency, gold difference, XP difference, solo kills per game, and champions play per game. Knight has the best KDA at 7. What does that mean for the competition? You're screwed. Knight is the best player in the world right now. Zeka 5.2, Caps 5. I heard that Scoo was responsible for why Caps was so good this season. That's the argument I've seen often. It's between that and then the 6-0 versus LCK argument. Both pretty bad ones. The Caps one better than the 6-0 argument, but regardless, yeah, they're trying to take down Caps and say Scoo is the reason Caps did so well this year. Weird. Lower end of things, Cream and Faker and Saint. But there's a big gap there, right? So Cream, third lowest at 3.9, Faker at a 3, which is interesting. Faker's dying a lot, and the kill participation's not great. It's at 56%. He's not involved. Relatively speaking, I mean, you have 56%. Excuse me, Cream's in a similar boat, 61%, Yahoo as well. But Knight and Quid, the most involved out of anybody here. 2 out of every 3 kills they're present for. Where Faker, it's just pretty much half to 3 out of every 5. T1 very much fighting around the bot side of the rift in this season thus far. CS per minute, not a wide range here. 9.3 for Saint to Toots at 8.8. Relatively close. However, the problem with Toots is 8.8 and then the lowest damage at 1.58. Well, one of the lowest, Saint 1.53 as well. 2.6% share differential. These numbers are not great. Why? Because you have the lowest CS, which means you should have the lowest baseline of gold. Then you deal the least amount of damage relative to the gold, pretty much, and give the least amount of impact for your team relative to the gold you take. This is not a great combination. Not good. So he's going to have his hands full at this event. Faker, similar boat, but Faker is Faker. And the fact of the matter is T1 definitely not fighting around him. He is not what makes that team go over the aggregate. I understand that when we get to Worlds, it's a different animal, but this is not Worlds. This is MSI, and people go, oh, well, Faker dominates the LPL. Not at MSI. I mean, last year, yeah, sure, great, congratulations. Does that, like, 1 year change what was the last 5-6 years? I think he's like 2-5 in his last 7 best of 5s against the LPL at MSI. So that is a thing. Higher end of things, we see Cream and Knight and Quid. They're the 3 big damage dealers at this event. And we'll see what happens. Quid will have to deal damage to be competitive and take the bull by the horns in that lower group. That playing group, he has his work cut out for him. As far as Knight and Cream are concerned, that's an LPL thing. The teams fight a lot. That's not a surprise. In terms of impact, 5.3, 5.2%. That's a 1B9 stat. They are dealing a ton of damage. Vision efficiency, Knight, very good at setting up wards and taking away wards. We see Saint is as well. Hongsuo for DCG also. These players taking their leads in the laning phase and doing something with it that helps the entire team. Tracking the enemy is a huge part of winning and losing, in my opinion. One of the most overlooked aspects of the game. Lower end of things, LCK, Zeka, Faker not getting out of lane quite as easy. Dyer 3.15. Gold difference. Knight and Caps dominating lane. Knight is up 520 gold at 15 minutes on average. Caps 445. And even Quid 229. Lesser dominance. But this is what I'm saying. Caps is the best Western mid. He makes Scoo's job easier. Does that mean Scoo just doesn't do anything? No, it doesn't. That's why Scoo is ranked where he is. It's just that, I mean, come on. The jungler's job's easier when you have a laner that's up 445 gold on average. Unless you think Scoo is doing what Caps isn't earning that. It's Scoo that's doing it. And then Knight, 500 gold ahead. I mean, Knight's just crushing it. Good luck. If he's still on this heater at this tournament, it's good luck. Have fun for everybody else. Lower end of things, we see Cream, 47 ahead. Tien and Cream, not overly dominant in the mid jungle duo, and that's a problem. Faker behind him both, XP and gold at 15 minutes. Faker is not what he once was. Dyer is also pretty low in these categories as well. Solo kills per game, really an aggression stat. Not everybody can replicate the solo kills they get domestically into international success in the same way. Highlight reel plays and everything get everybody excited, but the way I look at it is you're probably not going to be able to pull that off internationally. So what do you have in the more of a what do you have in the box of tricks, I guess you could say, that will translate internationally? Because Dyer has a solo kill in 2 out of every 5 games. Is it going to do that here? Probably not. Caps, 2 out of every 5 over his career. It's more like 1 in every 3. So, I mean, it's almost the same. I mean, the percentage drops 10%. So Caps is able to almost replicate it internationally. So that's why the 0.41 makes sense. But Yahoo 0.15, he does not find those opportunities quite as much, which is good. I mean, that gives a solid baseline. And at the same time, there's not a lot of outplay potential there. Toots 0.19, also pretty low outplay potential. And in Brazil, you need to be pretty good in lane if you're going to compete here. Champions played, a lot of people between 1 new one every 5 and 1 new one every 4. I mean, everyone's playing, 15, 20 champions for the most part this season. Knight has the lowest at 0.19, but he's also played the most games. I think he's played 107 games already this season, where I think like Toots only played like 58. So there's a big difference there. It's literally nearly only half of the games played. So that's it for the stats. Now on to the champion pools and the rankings. Okay, so similar to the top lane role, we have some key champions that have been buffed and nerfed that should impact mid. It's not quite like jungle. Jungle faced a lot of nerfs, but the buffs really didn't help too many. Not a lot of people play Poppy and Olaf at this event. You say, oh, Owner does. Over the entirety of his games played, it was pretty low. So we look at this. What is a buff to me? Whatever Riot says it is. A nerf? Whatever Riot says it is. I'm not going to get in the nitty gritty of whether things actually will have impact as a buff or a nerf. Just looking at it over a broad stroke here. What does 19% for Caps mean? That means he has played Wei, LeBlanc, Silas, Syndra, Tristana in 19% of his games the last 3 seasons. 24, 25, and now 26. So he is the most buffed because he uses these champions the most out of anybody on the board. Does that mean Faker cannot play? No, he just hasn't been playing it as much, as an example. Toots up there, Cream, Knight, and this is more like what we saw kind of in between jungle and top. Top, it was like 25%, 30% because of the key Aatrox, Gwen, and Jax buffs. But Syndra is a champion we've seen meta before. LeBlanc has been meta before. Silas, 80 carry mid, and Tristana, 80 mid. So who knows? Who knows what we'll see at this event? What will stick, what won't. Lower end of things, Quid 9%, Zeka 10%. We know Zeka's champion pool is very feast or famine. So that is a thing, but the Silas being buffed will help him. Nerf. Obviously, Nerf is for something that you're playing now, not something you played 2 years ago. So what have we played this season? Kaz, Ori, and Ryze all were nerfed. Those are the core 3. We have Brand, Rumble, Scion also nerfed, but those are one-offs and barely affected this. Mainly it is Ori, Cassiopeia, and Ryze. Quid, that's 1/3 of his games played. Does that mean that he's not going to play these champions? Not necessarily. It just means 1/3 of his champion usage has been nerfed going into this event. Quid about 1 in 4. Same with Faker, Hongsuo, Dyer. I mean, it's pretty much 1 out of every 3 down to 1 out of every 5. Everyone's affected by this. Everybody was playing Ryze. Everybody was playing Orianna. Those are key picks for most mid laners. It's kind of standard to have. In terms of one-offs, these are literally champions only one of these players played. You might be able to find other players that played them. They're not here, so I don't give a fuck. Brand. Yahoo, only player to play brand mid here. Fizz by Zeka. Kassadin by Zeka. Morgana by Knight. Rumble by Hongsuo. Scion by Faker. Smolder by Cream. Hongsuo played Swain. Vex was played by Dyer. And Yasuo was played by Faker. Does that mean other people at this event can't play these champions? Fuck no. We've seen them play these champions. But nobody else has played them this year thus far. So, is this going to inspire them to bring it back out? Maybe. But the most likely player to play it, in my opinion, would be somebody that's already played it. They obviously feel comfortable already enough on the champion that they were willing to pull it out. So, if somebody's going to pull it out, I'm assuming it's them before anybody else at this event. Now, for the rankings. Let's do this again. Just 1 second. Okay, we had a couple breaks in this video. So, 11th is Toots. Struggling statistically at the CB law level is a recipe for disaster internationally. Good luck, buddy. Good luck. And that's going to harm Tatu. Having a mid laner that's going to be on Struggle Street is going to hurt Tatu. And I've emphasized it over and over again. Make Tatu's day feel terrible on the Rift. Like, really just focus making his game terrible, and you'll probably win. So, it's going to help that your mid laner is on Struggle Street. Definitely. Next, I'm going to have Dyer. I think Dyer, this group here is very much a bunch of players that are unproven. The mid lane role, like top lane to me, you have a couple players at the top. You have a couple players after that are clearly the second group. And then a bunch of players, at least at this event, that we'll see what happens. I mean, they're a bunch of young players at first, second, third event. And we need to see growth. So that is a thing. 9th is Hongsuo. I like the fact that he's winning in lane. Up 120 gold, 180 XP. Is that huge? No, but it's better than 30 and negative 73. Solo kills aren't really there, but that's okay, because like I said, I don't think solo kills are all that replicable internationally. Are his hands going to be full at this event because they probably are the worst team here? Yes, he could look like the worst player in this role, but I'm going into it, I think he's the 9th best one. Next is going to be Saint. And Saint has 1v9 potential. But the problem with Saint is he's not dealing damage. And Lion in general don't deal a lot of damage, which is a problem. It is a problem. Team Liquid to a degree as well, but Quid is an outlier, and so that's a thing. But Lion not dealing a lot of damage. There's not a lot of aggression, and that's not good. That's not good. So Saint, farms a lot, but doesn't deal a lot of damage with it. Great vision. Ahead at 15 minutes. I think laning phase he'll be fine at this event. It's just turning it into damage in the mid to late game, and that's where he lacks, in my opinion, and where a player like Yahoo thrives. So Yahoo is 7th because of that. Very solid stat line. Not flashy, not a ton of solo kills, not dominating lane, but finds an opportunity to have impact. And that's, in the end, that's what matters. What is the impact? You can have a gold lead, but what are you doing with it? If you're doing nothing with it, then it doesn't fucking make a difference. So, Yahoo doing a bit of that, and in my opinion, he's 7th, and he has the potential to be better. We'll see how he does. We'll see how he does here. Next, we're going to have Quid. Quid is 6th. I think because, like I said, Quid does deal a lot of damage. He has 1v9 potential. Internationally, I would like more out of him, for sure. And we'll see. At this event, it's kind of make or break for him. RTL kind of fucked in this group, in this play-ins, yeah. But that does not mean he does not have agency over his own performance. So, just because the team loses doesn't mean shit. Wins and losses are team stats. That's why I don't like that people bring it up about Skuman. I don't care that he's 6-0'd LCK. It's 5 players versus 5 players. Individually, did he 6-0 Canyon? and Sean. Canyon and Raptor. No. Individually in those games, I don't think he dominated. Raptor maybe. I mean, if we look back at it, but actually goal difference at first stand, it was Inspired that led in that category. But we go by wins and losses when we don't want to really think about it. So that's the thing. Quid is in 6th. Solid player. Deals a lot of damage. Involved. Winning lane. That's huge. So we'll see how he does here. Next is Cream. Not dominating lane. Not dominating lane. Not present. But does deal damage when he is there. So if they fought around him more with the way he's dealing damage, might be better for top esports. But we'll see how he does here. Next I have is Faker. I have Faker above Cream because of just nostalgia. Because Faker provides that intangible of shot calling for everybody. So that's just whatever. Hands-wise, Cream has better hands, but Faker has better macro, of course. Actually, you could argue, T1's lack of Drake priority is a problem, but yeah. So Faker is 4th. And then 3rd, I have Caps, because I still think Caps is very good. It's why I'm so surprised by people telling me Caps isn't very good. He played terrible. It wasn't Caps. Western GOAT. Super talented. He's up that much gold for a reason. He's got the most solo kills per game for a reason. He is that guy. So he is 3rd at this event going into it, and I would say pretty solidly. I really do think G2 has a chance to win the event. A chance, by that I mean it's a non-zero chance. Where historically it was non-zero. I like the way G2 are playing the game right now. And then the last 2 are pretty easy if you have been listening. Zeka is 2nd, Knight is 1st. People want to bring up, but when they played against each other back in whenever, I don't care. How are they playing right now? Because, once again, don't bring up win-loss with me. I don't care. Win-loss does not matter to me. It's about how these players did against each other individually when I'm comparing them. So, Knight obviously is leading in all these categories. He's dealing the most damage. He's not dying. He's the most present. He's winning lane. Really, they are the favorite, in my opinion. People want to say each other too. Hands-wise, it's BLG. Zeka doing well in terms of not dying, but not quite dealing as much damage. That is what it is. We'll see how he does here. If the LCK can get it to be an LCK sort of tournament, they win the majority of tournaments, right? LPL just finally won one for the first time in God knows how long. So, yeah. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.